Man, this shit fucking sucked. Fucking sucked. I was having so much fun watching this card. And then the main event happens, and I'm like, oh, damn, Dominick Reyes walking out of the Gangstar. Fuck, man, I really hope he fucking wins, or at least he just loses a shitty decision. Like, at least lose just a shitty decision. And he goes out there, looks completely frozen. Carlos Ulberg is doing fucking snake charms on Reyes, and Reyes rushes in into an exchange. Carlos fucking hits an angle on him, pivots on the front, lands a fat backhand on the chin, and folds Reyes, man. Man. And the follow-up shots put him in a fencing position. God damn it, dude. Why did it really didn't need to be this brutal, bruv. All week I was like, man, I didn't really make a video on this card because the card was ass, but fuck. Damn. Why did Reyes was doing so good, man? His hairline was terrible, but like, he was doing good in the fight, but he was just too basic on the feet. Ulberg had him frozen, had him charmed with the feints, and as soon as Reyes ran in, Carlos countered him perfectly. Look, man, props to Ulberg for that finish. It's a nasty finish, but that's just not what we wanted to see, man. And I mean, the first meaningful shot Ulberg landed on Reyes, which was a stiff jab, froze Reyes, had him worried. And in that moment, I was like, oh, he lost. He fucking lost. And yeah, that's what happened. I guess I'll talk about the rest of the card. Jimmy Crute did like a fucking bulldog-ish kind of fucking rear naked choke on Ivan Arslan real fast. Doesn't really matter. Jack Jenkins and Ramon Tavares. It was a decent fight. Jenkins had him hurt in moments. Tavares looked bigger despite being the bantamweight coming up. And Jenkins had a fucking nice Asotogari trip. He had like a switch stance into a Asotogari. It was nice. It was so clean. I was like, oh shit, he hit the Asotogari. It was kind of like the trip itself was nice, but it was an ugly looking like takedown. And I was like, oh, was that a Asotogari? When they showed it, I was like, oh yes, it was. Yeah, man, good performance by Jenkins. His post-fight performance was really, really heartfelt for me. And wish him luck and shit. Neil fucking Magny. He fucking comes out and does Neil Magny things yet again, man. Like, I was talking to my friend, who's kind of a casual. He doesn't really watch UFC that much. And he was like, oh, I'm about to watch this one. And I was telling him, I was like, listen, man, Neil Magny he's the vet. He can do it. He's the type of guy to do it in the third round. To get his ass whooped and then win in the third. And in the end of the first, near the end of the first, Neil takes down Matthews, and Matthew has a lock on the guillotine, but he has no bite with the legs. Neil Magny has his legs over Matthews' legs, but Neil Magny somehow lets Matthews reverse him. So Matthews is on mount with a guillotine. He finally cinches up with around 15 seconds left, and for a split second, like the last 3 seconds of the fight, of the round, it looked like Neil was about to go out because his arm drops. And then the ref stops the fight, says he's out. And then Jake Matthews starts celebrating, and then Neil Magny isn't out. And then the ref just goes, yeah, never mind, the fight's still on. That was just the end of the round. I was like, what? And people were kind of angry at that. But, I do think it's good that the ref made a mistake and corrected it. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think that's great. And then they showed the replay, and Neil Magny wasn't out. He let his arm drop a little bit because he knew that the round was about to end. But come on, ref, come on, Neil Magny, why are you doing that? That against another ref, they wouldn't have reverted that decision. You would have lost by sub. But the fight goes on. Second round goes to Matthews in a pretty clear way. In the third, man. Halfway through, Neil Magny starts looking for Darce. Matthews does not defend it at all. Lets Magny cinch it up. And then he gets the Darce choke in the third. I was like, oh my goodness. He's still doing it. He's still doing it. at age fucking 45, still doing Neil Magny things. We need to start having conversations about Neil Magny being the legendary third round fighter. The legend of GM3 lives on through Neil Magny. Who's he gonna fight next, man? Who's a prospect at welterweight? I don't know. Give him another prospect. All right, let him keep doing Neil Magny things. He's gonna lose by KO, and then he's gonna win by a third round sub again. Fucking hell, it was so dope for Neil Magny. I was like, damn, Unk really still did it. Now this fight was a banger right here. Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. They came out swinging and banging. They fucking came out and swang and bang. Campbell was landing some solid ones on the chin of Nolan, but Nolan looked so good and crisp on the feet. He was doing like every good thing you can do in an MMA striking stance. He was southpaw. He was ripping kicks on the open side. He was ripping a front kick, a body kick. I think he threw up a couple of head kicks and calf kicks as well. He would back up and try to peg Campbell into a knee up the middle, kind of like JDM versus Bilal type of knees. And he did this beautiful counter combination where he kind of feinted stepping back and then slapped Campbell with a left hand right hook counter. It was so clean. I was like, yes. I was so happy about that. And then near the end of the round, he gets Campbell down. Campbell just like has no awareness and just lets Tom gets on the back with one hook, slaps on the rear naked choke. It's not a fully locked in. You know, he doesn't have both hooks. He doesn't have the body triangle. The angle wasn't even right, but he just had the bite on the neck and Campbell taps. You know, it's what happens when you just leave your back out there. You don't like, you're in the lightweight division in the UFC, bro. How could you be doing that? You need to know better than that, man. The rest of the fight, the card, Navajo Sterling, he did a pretty good performance. And but Lotto just really didn't do shit though. He kind of, like he really didn't do anything. He kind of just let the fight get away from him. And the third round kind of just tried a little harder and they still lost. In moments of the second round, I was like, oh man, is this Ulberg versus Kennedy Nzechukwu again? Because Sterling was waiting into the pocket, all sluggish, tired. And it looked like Bellotto was landing some tough ones on the chin, but Sterling has a solid chin. He gritted it out. He did try to go harder in this fight, I could say that. He still didn't get the finish, but Bellotto is very tough. Both guys were working a body, and man, it was very obvious when I first watched Sterling fight, but he is such a Dan Hooker clone, but it works so much better in a heavy weight class because his shots just have more meaning to them. So when Bellotto was coming in, Sterling would just land a stiff jab, and that would be enough to push Bellotto off. And the body shots, man, especially the body shots, it was such Dan Hooker-esque body shots. And man, Sterling looked really good. He had some takedowns in there too. Gassed himself out a little bit doing it, but he finished strong in the third round. Good work by Sterling. I actually like him a lot in this division. He has more thud in his shots than like Ulberg when he was coming up. And yeah, good performance. Yeah, moving on. Cam Rolston KO'd Andre Prochazka. There's really not much to it, and like this guy did a thing. He knocked out this guy. Okay. Anyways, man, that's kind of my recap on this fight night. Overall, really good card, but we just couldn't end it off on a good note, could we? Yeah, man. The Reyes comeback is canceled. Like and subscribe. Follow me on X. I'll see you on the next one, man. Peace.